Hey everyone. So, remember back in the Lucky Dime Caper episode of The Happiest Cast on Earth where, I couldn't find a single trailer or commercial for what we're going to talk about today. So, here's something from something kind of different but with a similar title. Yeah, it happened again. I couldn't find a single trailer or commercial or anything for this movie, Saintly Sinners. So here's the trailer for the 2025 Oscar hit, Sinners.
Papa's here. Papa's here.
What you come back for?
You throwing a big event tonight?
Your money come with blood.
All money come with blood, baby. Listen here. This ain't no house party.
Y'all ready to drink? Y'all ready to sweat till y'all stink?
You want some?
You keep dancing with the devil. One day he's gonna follow you home.
Like I hear the crickets do. I wanna. Ooh.
Still hurts coming back.
Why you here, Smoke? Smoke. Why you here?
Our daddy was an evil man. And he passed that evil down to us.
Hello, my beautiful people, and welcome back to another episode of Mooncasting, the show where we review anything and everything that is somehow in the Dreamworks library. I'm your host, as always, Ryan Johnson. Joining me today is Bailey Nicole.
Hello.
Now, Bailey, since this is your first time on, why don't you go ahead and tell us a little something about yourself. Who are you? What do you do? What are you doing in my house?
Oh, yes, of course. Well, I am from Beckley. I have worked with Ryan for the past couple of summers now, um, and have gotten to hear him talk about all kinds of movies and watch all of his reviews. So I'm very excited to be here talking with you.
So today on this show, we are going to be talking about something very interesting, that being the 1960s comedy drama Saintly Sinners. Now, Bailey, I have to ask, are you in any way familiar with this prior to me forcing you to watch this?
No, I'm not. I had never heard of it.
Yeah. I'm in a similar boat to you, although it is an interesting way on how this is connected to DreamWorks somehow. So, some of you may be familiar with classic media, and DreamWorks Animation bought classic media around 2012, I believe so, and classic media owns the entire filmography for a certain producer whose name I forgot, and this just so happened to be one of those movies. So this is one of the many reasons I think this show is very, very fun to do, because we get weird picks like this, as in, this is technically a DreamWorks movie. This weird little obscure comedy from the 60s that nobody's ever heard of.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a good watch. I wasn't sure what to expect from it, especially when you just sent me the title. But it was short and sweet and it was pretty good watch.
Yeah, so the film basically follows this priest named Father Gideon who's just the most lovable old man you could possibly find. You just want to eat this man up. You just want to have a nice, calm, like Sunday afternoon on the porch with him. Maybe
Yeah, I agree.
maybe have some chicken and dumplings on the stove or something. Some
Mm,
iced tea. Just
yep.
have a good time with them.
Yeah.
And there's just a lot of stuff going on around him. But the big thing is that we got these con men involved. These con men have done a bit of a bank heist, and they put their stolen money in a tire, and that car got in the hands of dear old Father Gideon.
Yeah,
Meanwhile,
that's the most unique hiding spot for money I've ever seen in film. That's for sure.
yeah, yeah, it's definitely an interesting way for it to stand out, I guess, in a little bit of a way.
Yeah.
But I think the part for me that kind of stood out about why they wanted to do that in a tire specifically is that they got rid of the car part way and just put it in
Hmm.
a dealership because
Yep.
they said because they said it themselves, nobody's ever gonna look in the tire, and nobody ever does really look in the
This
tire.
is true.
So they could have just
Yeah.
drove off with it and have nothing to deal with any of these issues, but we're getting ahead of ourselves a
Hmm.
little bit.
Oh yeah.
One thing that I do want to point out is that apparently, according to the opening credits, Harvard University had some involvement with making this movie.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, apparently Harvard makes movies. At least they did at this point in time. I don't know why they felt the need to make this, but they
Yeah.
did.
Were they labeled as a producer?
I believe that they were just like a sponsor for it, or
Oh.
well, let me look deeper into this. This is the fun thing of us watching these movies like right before we hit record is that we don't always. Yeah, Harvard Productions, a production company behind this. So
Very interesting.
I believe it's the same Harvard. Though
Yeah.
listeners,
Huh.
if I'm very wrong, please correct me. I promise you I'm not stupid.
Oh, no,
Mm.
never.
But yeah, we do follow this wonderful wonderful little priest, Father Gideon, and no, not Father Gideon. We do follow this wonderful priest, Father Dan, and while he's giving a lot of great advice to a lot of the people that's coming his way, especially this ex-con named what's his name, Joe. This ex-con
Oh
Joe,
yeah.
who is only considered an ex-con because when he was a little boy, he stole some candy because
Hmm.
he had absolutely no money and he was just a kid wanting some candy.
I know. Yeah, that made me really sad, especially seeing how he was treated because of this like one little blip on his record, like as an adult.
Yeah, and his that's like the only thing that's like a scratch on his record, especially with the job he has. Although here's what I'll say
Hmm.
about Joe. So like the whole reason that that Father Dan really even like tries to get the new car is because of like the financial status that Joe is in. He needs money and he needs a new car for his job and all that stuff.
Hmm.
him and his wife just disappear from the movie for like the entire second act and the grand majority of the third act. Like they're in the very beginning,
Yeah.
they're forgotten about.
Yes.
Like there was
Yeah,
a
we
certain,
get the introduction to them. Yeah, and then they pop back up at the end.
yeah, like there was a certain point, like
Yeah,
partway
I felt
through.
like I put my head down.
Yeah, yeah, we were like, where did
No
they go?
good. Yeah, I was gonna say, I feel like I at the end there, I feel like I put my head down and I looked up and then he was in the car.
That's where he went. Like
Yep,
it's not like
he
they're
was just
forgotten
hiding.
about, but it feels like
No,
they're
yeah,
forgotten.
the characters is still there.
Yeah,
Yeah. But I wonder also, with it being such a short movie, um, if there just wasn't enough time to fit some extra character work in there.
yeah, and I guess this also is like they're not 100% needed, especially in that little
Yeah.
portion.
Hmm.
But at the same time, it's almost like you could write a version of this movie where those characters aren't there and their big financial issue isn't like a thing. Like you could still have them like be
Yeah.
there as just like showing a scene on on the pastor and how he handles people just around his day-to-day life. But the whole like financial troubles and like always an ex-con and stuff like that could have been written out of the movie, really, because the whole thing with the car and the money, that could just be
Hmm.
written as he just wanted a new car.
Yeah, that's true. And you have the oh, I forget the title, but the head priest that was above him, he came in and he said like, "Hey, as a priest, you need to look nicer. You need to take care of yourself. You need to have a reliable mode of transportation." And so that also was a motivation for him to get a new car and to take himself on a vacation so he could do something nice for himself. And yeah, I think you could definitely um yeah, a version could definitely exist without Joe and his wife.
Exactly. Yeah, but let's talk about that head priest right there, who literally just tells him that, hey, you need to put yourself above the people that you're supposed to be
Yeah,
preaching to.
that was really crazy to me. Like I was with him when he was talking about like you can't just unlock the poor box. You can't just let people take the money. Like you need to be the one distributing the money. I was there. I was with him there. And then when he said, "Actually, you look really bad and you should probably take that money and use it on yourself." That was I got a little confused there.
Like, how dare they steal from the poor box? That's your job.
Right, exactly.
It's it's a really interesting perspective in this movie because that's definitely something that we see today. Like I
Hmm.
like like I forget the story, but and I forget like the exact name of the mega church, but there was I did read the story of like a mega church in like an area where like a severe flood happened, people lost their homes, and
Hmm.
some people were, as you do, were going to the church for some sanctuary and like as a place to seek guidance. The church was like,
Yeah.
no, get out of here, you pig, or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah. We question it in this movie as a plot device or the judging the character, but it is sadly very true to life in a lot of ways.
Yeah. Yeah, which I did, I just going back to like Father Dan's character, I really enjoyed him, like the way he was written, the way he was portrayed, because even still, like he said, like he wasn't gonna, not that he was getting a whole lot of money, from offering each week, but he wasn't going to take that money. He just had some parishioners who came and gifted him money and said, "We want this specifically to go to you getting a new car because we know you need one." Um, so yeah, even though his boss was telling him to take the money out of the offering for himself, he still wouldn't do that, and I really like that.
Yeah. And then on the complete opposite end, we got the whole crime aspect of this movie, which debatably
Yeah,
would be.
that was the most comedic, like series of unfortunate events type bank heist that I think I've ever seen. It was great.
It was a very fun, like heist sequence. I think my favorite part was when they just took the case from the woman, and she just stood there. They didn't,
Right.
they didn't, she didn't do anything. They didn't really do much to her. Like she's not on the ground. She didn't get hit or anything. She just
Yeah.
stands there and just looks at them as they run away with it.
I know, right? And then when they went and tried to like solidify their alibi, when they stopped into that restaurant and they just took it speaks to the movie being a movie of its time, right? When they like just moved the hand of the clock to make it a different time. That way they could prove they could have somebody, say like, "Oh yeah, no, I saw him here at this time." They couldn't have been doing that.
Yeah. There's one thing you can definitely say about this movie that is it is a movie of its time,
Yeah.
but not in like a bad dated way, but in like a fun, charming way. Like these
Oh
are
yeah, I
all
agree. I think movies when they are like quote dated, like if you go into them with the knowledge that it's just, it was made in a different time, um, you can gain a lot more appreciation for films like that.
yeah, it's a fun time capsule because we
Yeah.
got the typical gangsters, we got the fun wise old priests. We got
Hmm.
all the fun like heists and wacky humor and all that types of things and the very 60s haircuts. It's just a good time. Plus the
Yeah.
fact that it's in black and white too, and
Oh yeah, I do. Yeah. I love a good black and white film.
yeah,
Yeah, something
especially
that
yeah,
something that also stood out to me was when um Joe, he was behind on his car, which, started this whole nonsense. And like his like breaking like number of not being able to pay off was $250 on his car, which like now, and that was like 2 or 3 months behind on his payments. And like nowadays, that's not even really going to get you 1 month of a car payment.
yeah, that's unfortunately
I know.
there was another moment just like that later on in the film where Father Dan he was dropping the car off because he got a flat and
Hmm.
the grand amount it costs to like get that tire fixed and to get the spare $1,
I know. I noticed that too. I was like, wow, I wish. I just had a flat tire the other day. I had to drop $300.
right? Everything's got to go up and up and up and up
Yep.
till nothing's affordable anymore. Gotta love how that's the one thing that everybody can agree on in this world is that everything's just too expensive.
Yep. Hey, we all got to agree on something.
So Father Dan ends up getting the car that our wonderful little robbers have brought into the dealership. And
Right.
they are like, hey, Father Dan, can we borrow that car? Can we get that car off of you? We'll pay it off of you. And he's like, okay, let me drive it around for like an entire week and I'll give it to you on Saturday night. And they're like, we kind of need it now, but we like you, so okay.
Yeah, yeah, I like that was their line. Was they're like, listen, we'll steal money from this old woman. We'll do all these things. But once they saw that it was in a priest's hands, they're like, oh, we can't steal from the church. And they're like, but if we borrow it, then that's fine.
Yeah, because yeah, and I think there's also just something for them. There's like something about just Father Dan's character because if they were
Mhm.
because I feel like if they were stealing from the priest above him, they would be like,
Mhm.
"That guy kind of sucks. Let's just take the money from him." But
Yep.
because like Father Dan is a nice, kind, and loving priest, and he sees the good in these two men, they're like, "Hey, I don't really feel right stealing from the church right over here,"
Mhm. Yep.
and that's ultimately the reason why they ended up turning themselves in and starting to turn a new leaf, and why Father Dan would speak positively of them in court, and all sorts of things later on in the end of the movie.
Mhm. Yep.
And it really does show the power of that one man can do in people's lives. Because skipping ahead to the end of the movie, eventually the license plate
Mhm.
on Father Dan's car gets recognized by police as the car that stole the money. And
Mhm.
he's naturally very confused because he didn't steal anything.
Yep.
However, this incident of technically getting arrested was enough for the head priest to be like, "You're out of here."
Mhm.
Once everybody learns this, they're like, "Okay, this is bad." So like all the like the mob people were like, "We gotta give Father Dan his job back," and that's the
Yep.
climax of the movie is trying to get him his job back, and all the different characters we've seen throughout the film so far are basically saying to the head priest, "We need to get his job back." On
Mhm.
top of that, Joe, remember him? He is put into question about it because of his past
Mhm.
and his financial status and all of that. And everyone's just in a big pickle.
Yep.
But the head priest is still like, "No, I don't. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna do that."
Yep.
It's just a
Yeah, and that's yeah, and that was his I don't know if it was technically his secretary or just a lady who worked at the church who the whole time she was saying, Father Dan, you got to take care of yourself and like, maybe you're going to get moved to a bigger parish. Like maybe you'll get moved to like a bigger church where you can make some more money. And he was like, "No, like this is where I belong." And he's like, My parishioners like he's like, "I like to believe that they like me." And the whole movie she's like, "No, like I don't think that they would care that much, like they just they need a priest, but it would probably be better for you to just move on where you can make more money." And so it was really heartwarming for that climax to happen at the end of the movie where he then did get to see like all his parishioners come out to vouch for him and showed the impact that he made on them.
yeah, and I do like that. Almost dropped something. And I do like the fact that Father Dan had such a positive influence on all these people that
Hmm.
they come clean about stealing the money, and
Yep.
both priests were like, "We'll put in a good name for you in court."
Yep.
Because yeah, again, it really does showcase the power that one man can have on a lot of people, especially when
Hmm.
they have absolutely zero like selfish or malicious intents. They just
Hmm.
want to do good by their Lord, and they want to do good for their people and just live life and make a positive impression.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like this is just one of those movies where you leave it and you just kind of feel a little bit better about life. It's like, oh,
Yeah,
not
it was
every human
definitely
sucks.
Yeah, it was definitely an uplifting movie. I felt like the whole time, all these bad things are happening around Father Dan. And it's like they come like this close, or like, had he, you know, made a little bit of a different decision, had he like arrived somewhere else a little bit earlier, a little bit later, it's like something bad would have happened. And it was, yeah, it was very heartwarming to see that like this, this kind man who he's just trying to do right, he's just trying to do what he knows is good. To see like it was like a hedge of protection around him, like to see him get to like make it through the whole movie and like yeah, he had some inconveniences, but um yeah, he just got to live his best life and that was awesome.
Yeah. And on that note, Bailey, I have to ask, if you
Mhm.
were to rate Saintly Sinners on a scale of 1 to 5, how exactly would you rate it?
Hmm. It was that, like we said, it was definitely a movie of its time. Oh, hi. It
For
was
the
definitely
people
a movie of its
listening, say
time.
hello to Sunny.
Oh, yes. We got the kitty decided to join us. Um, Definitely a movie of its time. Definitely a little cheesy. So I'd give it a good 3.5. I would definitely watch it again. It's definitely a good feel good.
Yeah, I don't know if I would quite go like a 3.5 for me because some of those issues, specifically with the characters of Joe and his wife, they're like this isn't
Hmm.
completely necessary, and it does kind of like drag it down.
Yeah.
But it does have plenty of very great moments. It has a fun little premise, and it has really good performances, wonderful characters, and it just
Hmm.
le- makes you leave the movie feeling good about life and everything.
Yep.
So I would give it a very solid 3. It's a very enjoyable watch.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
But anyway, guys, that will be it for this week's episode of Mooncasting. Bailey, thank you so much for coming on to the show.
Yes, thank you for having me. This was wonderful.
And is there anything you would like to plug?
I don't think so. Hey, if you're in the Beckley area, come see us this summer at Theater West Virginia. It's going to be a good time with good shows.
What are those shows?
We are doing Honey in the Rock. We're doing a rewrite, so we're going closer to the original writing. As you know, in the past 65 years, it's undergone a lot of changes. So we're bringing back some of those original things, and then we're going to do Shrek the musical, which you just can't go wrong with that.
And if you and for those of you listeners that are not in West Virginia, Honey in the Rock is a historical drama about how West Virginia became a state. So it's a very fun show. I don't have to explain what Shrek is on this Dreamworks podcast, so but anyways, if you guys would like to keep up to date on this show, then you can go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel and follow us on Spotify. And you can also follow all of my different socials at Mr. Johnson and Weird TV on YouTube and TikTok and Instagram and all that such. And please be sure to join us next week where we will not be doing an episode of Mooncasting, but we will be flipping back to the Disney series, The Happiest Cast on Earth, where we shall be looking at the infamous 90s live action feature film adaptation of Mr. Magoo. So, until
Oh,
then,
perfect.
I will see you later. Bye.